The Silent Sermons of the Elephants, written by huntalex. So grab your coffee, sit back, and enjoy the show. Prologue. This animal is extremely observant of rule and measure, for it will not move if it has greater weight than it is used to, and if it is taken too far it does the same, and suddenly stops. An observation of the elephant from the notebooks of Leonardo da Vinci. Long before humans shaped words, before rivers carved their winding paths through the delta, before baobabs had grown fat with age, the elephants of the Okavango Delta felt it, a trembling beneath the earth, a pulse as ancient as the sun, and colder than the windless nights. They did not know the name of this presence. Names belonged to tongues. Elephants carried memory in bone and vibration, in the slow resonance of the earth beneath their feet. The matriarchs moved cautiously. Masego, then young herself, guided the herd across cracked salt pans where dust rose in ghostly plumes, forming arcs of heat that danced like faint spirits. The calves huddled close, noses pressed against the thick hides of their mothers, sensing a threat they could not name. It came to them as hunger. Not the hunger for grass or the fruit of the marula, not the thirst of rivers, not the longing for waterholes. This hunger fed on memory itself, and the elephants knew. If they did not offer, the memory would be taken violently, leaving hollow shapes where knowledge and experience should reside. The first circle was slow. Matriarchs stomped in unison, trunks tracing arcs over the dust, nudging one another with precise, careful touches. Their tusks scraped the earth rhythmically, leaving spirals that reflected the rotation of moons long past, twisting like the Okavango River. The calves mimicked the motion instinctively, but a tremor ran through their young bones. Something was not like any other night they had known. Along these spirals, some members of the herd placed the bleached skulls of any beast they could find: warthog, eland, impala, even one of a Cape buffalo, just small offerings to the devourer of thoughts, while others waved branches of the rain tree and mopane to the waxing moon. From the termite mounds came faint vibrations, rhythmic, unnatural. Insects moved in perfect unison, synchronized to a frequency the elephants could feel rather than hear. A shadow shifted atop the largest mound, not cast by moon or starlight, but a darkness that bent space around it, making the air heavy and the ground vibrate like the echo of something impossibly large. The matriarch leaned close, her head brushing the dust, and offered her first memory. A vision of her own mother, scents of the riverbank, the taste of acacia leaves in early rains of the wet season, folded and pressed into the circle. The shadow paused, inhaled the gift through some unseen sense, and receded slightly into the earth. The herd survived their night. Their task hasn't been concluded yet, as there's more needed to be done. From that night onward, every generation of elephants has repeated the ritual, known instinctively. Some elephants live their entire lives without naming it. Some remember faintly, as if the air itself hums with old unfinished stories. And Kuyana Maboro, the listener with a face like a crescent moon, awaits. That horror that many cows would tell their calves during moonless nights, a hideous behemoth of shadow born from the dark abyss of the earth, a predator far from the lion or the hyena, feeding off not the flesh of its victims, but of their minds. Beneath the termite mounds, beneath the cracked salt pans, beneath the hollow silence between animal calls, it learns, it hungers, it remembers what those forget. Part 1. Dawn came to the delta of Okavango as a pale widening rather than a burst of light. Mist lifts slowly from the channels, loosening its grip on papyrus and reed beds, and the river breathes out a low vapor that smells of rot and sweetness in old water. Tsukilo feels the day before she sees it. The vibration of waking birds travels through the ground and into the pads of her feet. The frantic stitching of weaver birds at their nests, the distant lonely cry of a fish eagle testing the air. Somewhere upriver, a hippopotamus exhales, a deep wet sound that rolls through the mud like a warning remembered rather than heard. Tsukilo stands still, one forefoot lifted, trunk curled loosely toward her mouth. She is not yet matriarch, but she walks close to Masego, the elder female whose bones hum with knowledge. Tsukilo feels the nearness of inheritance the way one feels a storm behind the horizon. Not visible, but heavy, unavoidable. The herd begins to move. Calves shuffle and stumble, bumping against thick legs, brushing flanks still cool from night air. One calf presses his forehead against Tsukilo's leg, seeking reassurance through contact. Tsukilo answers with a gentle nudge, releasing a low vibration that travels from chest to earth. Stay close. Stay within the circle of bodies. They follow the river south, where jackalberry trees lean toward the water and leadwood skeletons stand pale and patient, their dead branches etched with time. The herd strips acacia pods with practiced ease, tusks snapping brittle branches, leaves crushed between molars with slow, deliberate power. Nothing appears wrong, and yet the river behaves strangely. Its surface does not ripple where insects land. The reflections of cumulus seem delayed, as if the water must think before it mirrors the sky. Tsukilo pauses at the bank, trunk extended, tasting the air. There is a pressure beneath the familiar sense of mud and algae, something old, something listening. Masego stops too. She presses her forehead into the riverbank and holds it there, unmoving. The calves quiet instinctively. The earth carries a warning. Masego's body bears the map of remembered years, scars from thorns long dead, a chipped tusk earned during drought, folds of skin that carry the scent of ancestors. She does not look at Tsukilo, but she knows Tsukilo is near. She releases a vibration so deep it barely rises into sound. It is not a language, it is a pattern. Tsukilo receives it as a cascade of impressions, the swaying elephant grass under moonlight, circles of bodies, silence thick enough to press against the lungs, a shape beneath the ground, patient and vast, the cost of forgetting, the danger of remembering too much. The younger elephants grow restless. A subadult bull swings his head, ears flaring, testing dominance he will soon be forced to abandon. He smells the coming separation without understanding it. Bulls do not stay when the nights grow heavy. Far across the floodplain, a black rhinoceros watches from tall grass. She does not approach. Predators have learned over generations that the elephant's silences mean more than their noise. Even the hyenas keep their distance, pacing the periphery, ears twitching as if listening to a frequency they cannot fully perceive. A puff adder lies coiled near a fallen sausage tree, unmoving, heat-sensing pits tracking vibrations. It does not strike. The ground hums too strongly. The delta is holding its breath. Field note. Fragment found later. From the recovered journal of Dr. Omar Bello, mammalogist from the University of Pretoria who's studying these elephants at the time this phenomenon. Elephants, including these local individuals of the species, Loxodonta africana, alter their movement patterns during lunar cycles. Nothing new to science, such as the concept of elephants interacting with the moon's phases, even going back to the days of Pliny the Elder, who claimed that these great beasts showed reverence to celestial bodies. Increased activity has recently occurred during waning moons, which becomes reduced during full and gibbous phases. Hypothesis: risk avoidance, or something else? Observed. Herd paused for over 40 minutes near riverbank. No visible threat. Complete stillness. Even the local insects seemed reduced. This doesn't feel like rest. It felt like something awakening. As the sun climbs, heat presses down. Lizards slide from rocks into shade. A wattled crane steps carefully through shallows, each movement deliberate, ceremonial. Dragonflies hover and dart, their wings catching light like shards of blue glass. Tsukilo walks beside Masego and feels a sudden ache behind her eyes, a sensation like pressure, like something tugging at the inside of her skull. Images rise unbidden. Her mother's flank is shelter, the scent of rain breaking drought, the taste of mineral-rich mud at a distant salt lick she has not visited since calfhood. The ache intensifies. Tsukilo stumbles, just slightly. Masego reaches out, trunk wrapping around Tsukilo's neck, grounding her with touch. The sensation recedes, but the warning lingers. This is how it begins. Memory surfacing too early. Too strongly. The herd reaches a clearing by midday, a place of ancient use, though no visible markers explain why. The grass grows shorter here, trampled smooth by generations of feet. Termite mounds ring the clearing like watchful sentinels. One mound stands taller than the rest, cracked and darkened, its surface scarred by old tusk marks. The elephants slow. The calves cluster. And Tsukilo understands with a weight settling into her bones that this place will matter soon. The moon is still rising. That night clouds veil the sky, but the moon's presence is undeniable. Even hidden it pulls. The elephants feel it in their joints, in the water beneath the soil, in the subtle way the insects shift their rhythms. A genet slips through the undergrowth, pauses and turns away, disappearing back into the thickets of the sandveld. Porcupines freeze mid-step, quills rattling faintly, then retreat into the tall grass. The elephants begin to arrange themselves without instruction. Masego moves toward the center. Tsukilo follows. The ritual is not yet complete, not tonight, but the preparation has begun. And far beneath the clearing, beneath earth and root and bone, Kuyanamboro stirs. It tastes the rising memory like blood in water. Part 2. The leopard moon now thins. Not visibly, not yet, but the elephants feel the subtraction before the sky admits it. The nights grow lighter in a way that is wrong, as if illumination is being siphoned elsewhere. Shadows stretch oddly long. Reflections in the river hesitate. Tsukilo wakes before the herd stirs, heart thrumming against her ribcage. She presses her trunk into the soil, tasting the vibrations that have begun to crawl upward from the deep layers of earth. They are not footsteps. They are remembering. Across the delta, water levels recede a finger's width overnight. Marabou storks circle but do not dive. Weaverbirds abandon half-finished nests, threads of grass dangling uselessly from branches. A serval drags a kill into the open, abandoning cover as if secrecy no longer matters. Predators feel safer when the elephants prepare. That alone frightens Tsukilo. By midday, the air is tight with heat and anticipation. The young bulls pace, restless and confused. One Nayati circles the herd's edge repeatedly, ears flared, scent-marking trees with increasing aggression. Tsukilo watches him with a heaviness she does not understand at first. Then she does. Nayati carries too many memories already. Old roots, old wounds, too much of the circle. Bulls who remain when the rituals draw near do not leave whole. Masego steps forward. She does not chase Nayati away. She simply stands between him and the center of the herd, immovable as leadwood. The ground hums with her refusal. Nayati stops. His trunk curls inward. For a moment he presses his forehead against Masego's chest, drawing a vibration from her bones into his own. Then he turns and walks into the tall grass alone. Other bulls follow, singly or in pairs, their silhouettes dissolving into heat, shimmer, and distance. The herd contracts. The circle tightens. They excluded the males. Not violently, not even aggressively. It was just ritualized. The cows formed a barrier that felt intentional, ancient. I've studied elephants for 20 years and I've never seen this level of coordinated silence. The ache behind Tsukilo's eyes returns stronger than before. It does not hurt. It asks. Memories rise unbidden now, slipping loose from wherever they were stored. The smell of her first rain, the taste of salt after drought, the exact slope of a riverbank that no longer exists. Each recollection feels heavier than the last, as if weighted with invisible gravity. She tries to press them down, anchoring herself in the present, dust on her tongue, calf breath warm against her leg. But the pull intensifies. Masego senses it. She touches Tsukilo's cheek with the tip of her trunk and releases a vibration so old it barely feels like thought. You will not give all. You must choose. Tsukilo does not know how. The ritual site is no longer merely a clearing. The termite mounds have grown overnight, their towers taller, surfaces slick with damp earth despite the heat. Insects move in synchronized waves, antennae twitching in perfect alignment. When a calf brushes against one mound, the vibration that rises from it is deep enough to make Tsukilo's teeth ache. The baobab at the edge of the clearing pulses faintly, its bark warm, sap moving in irregular rhythms. Jackal berry leaves curl inward as if shielding themselves. The elephants begin to arrange themselves, not consciously, not with instruction. The circle forms as it always has. Calves on the outer edge, matriarchs closer in, bodies angled inward toward the tallest mound. Silence settles like sediment. Masego steps forward alone. She lowers herself onto her foreknees, forehead pressed to the cracked earth. Her tusks scrape slowly, deliberately, carving shallow arcs into the soil. Tsukilo feels the moment Masego releases the memory. It is not seen, it is felt. A surge of impressions ripples outward. Dry seasons survived, calves lost, paths remembered and then deliberately forgotten. The ground hums as Kuyanamaboro feeds. The air grows heavy. The mound darkens. Somewhere beneath it something vast inhales. Masego rises slowly, unsteady. Her eyes are clear, but something essential is missing. An ease, a certainty Tsukilo has always relied upon. Masego steps back into the circle. She does not look at Tsukilo. The pressure turns toward Tsukilo. Not a command. An expectation. She steps forward because her body knows the pattern even if her mind resists it. The earth beneath her feet vibrates, encouraging, hungry. She kneels. The memories surge, too many, too bright. Tsukilo panics, the instinctive fear of prey rising in her chest. If she releases them all, she will remain alive but hollow. A leader without a past. A matriarch without a map. She clamps down. She selects. The memory she offers is small but sharp. The moment she realized her mother would not rise again. The weight of that loss, compressed, painful, irreplaceable. She lets it go. The sensation is like tearing. The mound shudders. The air thickens. For a moment, only a moment, Tsukilo senses attention focusing on her specifically, an awareness vast enough to blot out the moon. Kuyanamaboro accepts the offering, but it lingers, unsatisfied. As the ritual wanes, wildlife edges closer. Spotted hyenas sit at the clearing's edge, eerily quiet. A rock python coils near a fallen acacia, tongue flicking as if tasting something that should not be airborne. Hippos surface silently in the nearby channel, eyes reflecting moonlight like drowned stars. Nothing attacks. Nothing leaves. The delta has become an audience. Field note. Voice recording last known. Nyasha, local ranger. The elephants aren't worshipping it. They're containing it. The memory loss isn't devotion, it's payment. And I think something is changing. The moon feels closer than it should. The ache behind Tsukilo's eyes returns stronger than before. It does not hurt. It asks. Memories rise unbidden now, slipping loose from wherever they were stored. The smell of her first rain, the taste of salt after drought, the exact slope of a riverbank that no longer exists. Each recollection feels heavier than the last, as if weighted with invisible gravity. She tries to press them down, anchoring herself in the present. Dust on her tongue, calf breath warm against her leg, but the pull intensifies. Masego senses it. She touches Tsukilo's cheek with the tip of her trunk and releases a vibration so old it barely feels like thought. You will not give all. You must choose. Tsukilo does not know how. The ritual site is no longer merely a clearing. The termite mounds have grown overnight, their towers taller, surfaces slick with damp earth despite the heat. Insects move in synchronized waves, antennae twitching in perfect alignment. When a calf brushes against one mound, the vibration that rises from it is deep enough to make Tsukilo's teeth ache. The baobab at the edge of the clearing pulses faintly, its bark warm, sap moving in irregular rhythms. Jackalberry leaves curl inward as if shielding themselves. The elephants begin to arrange themselves, not consciously, not with instruction. The circle forms as it always has, calves on the outer edge, matriarchs closer in, bodies angled inward toward the tallest mound. Silence settles like sediment. Masego steps forward alone. She lowers herself onto her foreknees, forehead pressed to the cracked earth. Her tusks scrape slowly, deliberately, carving shallow arcs into the soil. Tsukilo feels the moment Masego releases the memory. It is not seen, it is felt. A surge of impressions ripples outward. Dry seasons survived, calves lost, paths remembered and then deliberately forgotten. The ground hums as Kuyanamboro feeds. The air grows heavy. The mound darkens. Somewhere beneath it, something vast inhales. Masego rises slowly, unsteady. Her eyes are clear, but something essential is missing. An ease, a certainty Tsukilo has always relied upon. Masego steps back into the circle. She does not look at Tsukilo, only to the grim maw of the beast that awaits them, in the depths of her mind, daring her to imprison it like her ancestors did before her. Part 3. Masego does not walk at dawn. She stands while the others move around her, her massive frame still upright, but something inside her has slipped its tether. Her breathing is slow, uneven, as if each breath must be negotiated with the air. Tsukilo stays close. She feels the absence inside Masego like a hollow in the ground, memory removed not as wound but as excavation. The old leader remembers how to stand, how to breathe, how to be an elephant. But the fine threads that once connected past to present have thinned. She pauses too long at familiar trees. She tastes water twice, uncertain. Yet the authority remains. When Masego shifts her weight, the herd responds instantly. Calves quiet, adults reorient. Leadership is not memory alone, it is resonance, and Masego still resonates, faintly but unmistakably. The Delta knows she is dying. Aardvarks abandon their burrows before sunset. Weaver birds fall silent earlier than usual. A leopard lies motionless in the branches of the acacia as if anticipating the ritual. Even the river slows, its channels thickening with weeds as if reluctant to move forward. The moon will rise full tonight. Too full. Every female in the region comes. Herds that have not shared grazing grounds in generations arrive in deliberate lines, converging on the ancient clearing. They do not trumpet in greeting. They do not test dominance. They fall into place as if answering a call older than conflict. Tsukilo has never seen so many elephants together. The ground hums continuously now, a low-frequency vibration that makes the air shimmer. Termite mounds crack and slump, their internal structures collapsing under the pressure of soundless resonance. The calves sense the danger and press inward, bodies overlapping, trunks knotted together. Masego moves to the center. She stands before the tallest mound, her shadow stretching impossibly long in the moonlight. For the first time, she turns her head and looks directly at Tsukilo. Their eyes meet. Masego releases a vibration that is not warning, not instruction, but transfer. Tsukilo feels it enter her bones. Pathways, patterns, choices once made and deliberately forgotten. The shape of leadership without the weight of every remembered loss. Masego has been preparing her all along. The ground splits. Not violently, not explosively, deliberately. The termite mound collapses inward, revealing a cavity darker than shadow. Moonlight bends into it and does not return. The air grows cold, breath fogging from elephant lungs despite the heat. Kuyanamboro rises not as a body but as distortion. Memory buckles around it. Tsukilo smells things that no longer exist. The herd feels the presence of ancestors pressing close, drawn by something that consumes what they once were. The pressure to kneel is overwhelming. Several elephants do. The moon hangs directly overhead, motionless. This is the moment the rituals were meant to delay. The moment they were never meant to stop forever. Masego steps forward alone. Her gait is unsteady now, but her purpose is absolute. She lowers herself before the opening earth, placing her forehead against the ground one last time. She does not release memory. She releases continuity. The accumulated resonance of generations she has carried without knowing, the ability of the herd to move forward without the weight of total recall. It is everything Kuyanamboro wants. The ground shudders as the entity feeds. Masego collapses. Not violently, not dramatically. She simply lies still, her chest rising once, twice, and then no more. The herd does not cry out. They feel the loss ripple through them like a seismic wave. The pressure shifts. Kuyanamboro turns its attention to Tsukilo. She feels it probe her, searching for the next anchor, the next bearer of accumulated memory. The temptation is immense, to kneel, to give, to become another vessel hollowed out by preservation. Tsukilo does not kneel. She steps forward. She releases not memory but pattern. The elephants around her respond instantly, bodies aligning, vibrations synchronizing. They stomp in unison, not in worship but in refusal, sending rhythmic shockwaves into the ground that disrupt the cavity's shape. The delta answers. Rivers surge unexpectedly, flooding the edges of the clearing. Trees bend inward. The moonlight fractures, its reflection splintering across moving water. Kuyanamboro recoils, not in pain, but in confusion. It feeds on memory, not on living systems that adapt. The cavity collapses. Not sealed, buried. The elephants maintain the rhythm long after the pressure fades, stamping memory into earth without surrendering it. The entity withdraws downward, dragged back into the sediment of forgotten time. The moon resumes its movement. The night exhales. By dawn, the clearing is ordinary again, scarred, muddy, unremarkable to any eye but theirs. Masego's body lies where she fell. Tsukilo approaches and touches her forehead to the old leader's skull, imprinting the scent and vibration of finality. The herd gathers close, calves pressed inward, bodies forming a living monument. They do not linger. They move on. Dr. Omar Bello's final note. I returned to the clearing after the elephants left. There was nothing remarkable about it. No scorch marks, no bones, no unusual radiation or structural collapse. Just trampled grass, broken termite mounds, and the faintest depression in the soil where something had once opened and then been persuaded to close. The instruments recorded nothing abnormal, but the animals knew. The lions nor the jackals would not cross the clearing. The birds altered their migration routes. Even the insects moved differently, their patterns skewed as if avoiding a shape that no longer existed but might still be remembered. I found an old tusk fragment near the center, weathered, smooth. It had been deliberately placed. When I touched it, I felt an overwhelming sense of absence. Not fear, not pain, but the certainty that something had been taken so completely that it could no longer even be named. The elephants have not returned. Perhaps they never will. Or perhaps this is what survival looks like at their scale, knowing when to remember and when to leave a place behind forever. We like to think of ourselves as the only animals who carry gods. We are wrong. Some faiths do not ask for belief. They ask for forgetting. The weeks that follow, the delta stabilizes. Wildlife returns cautiously. Fish eagles hunt again. Hippos resume their noisy patrols. The moon cycles feel distant. Tsukilo leads differently. She allows forgetting. She reroutes paths. She avoids old clearings. She teaches through motion, not memory. Some rituals will never be repeated. That is the point. Far beneath the earth, Kuyanamboro sleeps. Hungry. Listening. But for now, the elephants have learned how to move forward without feeding it. And that knowledge, passed not as memory but as behavior, may be the most dangerous thing of all. Hey family, a very big thank you to huntalex for allowing me to narrate such an awesome tale. Be sure to check out their Reddit profile for more of their awesome works. If you would like to support us and make a donation, I'd be very much appreciative. I do have PayPal and a Buy Me a Coffee account. Be sure to also check out our merch store. There are plenty of items and designs to choose from. If you enjoyed this video, then why not check out the next one? Here, on the right-hand side, you can also follow us. All my socials and all my other links are contained within the Linktree link below. Take care, everyone, and I hope you all have a wonderful and peaceful night. And don't forget, where fear is, happiness is not.